At the beginning of the story, we see Ben and his cousin Eli currently delivering diamonds to a jewelry store. Eli was new to the job and clearly nervous. Ben asked him, "Have you brought your gun? Keep it loaded." Meanwhile, we see a man named Davis, who had just woken up. Davis is a very clever thief and robber who has committed countless thefts but never left a single trace of evidence. Now, as per his plan, he began stalking a man whose car he had already installed a tracker on. He calmly overtook the car of a man named Masood, stopped the car on a narrow road, and opened the trunk. As soon as Masood got out of the car, he said, "Brother, move aside and clear the way." David immediately pointed a gun at him and asked if he had any weapons. Masood replied it was inside the car. David asked Masood for his phone's PIN and locked it in the trunk, claiming it contained water. He quickly took his phone out of the car and drove off. Meanwhile, Sammy, the jewelry store owner, asked Ben about the new guy. Sammy then gave Ben a briefcase filled with fake diamonds. Then he revealed the truth. They were actually carrying 2 sets of diamonds worth approximately $3 million. The real diamonds were hidden in Ben's socks. He told Ben that he was the new guy, so don't tell him about this. Going outside, Sammy asked Eli to show him his gun. Seeing the gun, he asked, "Where are you carrying such an old weapon? It might explode in your hand." He gave Eli a better gun, telling him to return it after the job was done. He indicated that a car would follow them outside for their safety. As soon as Ben and Eli left, Davis parked his car outside the store and began following them. When they reached a quiet delivery location, Davis put on a mask, crashed into their car, and immediately pointed a gun at them. Eli froze in place. Then Davis showed Ben a video of his house on his phone. He called his wife and said, "My man is standing outside your house." He told Eli to throw both his phones and guns into his car, which Eli immediately did. He demanded both the actual diamonds and a certificate of their value, and also clearly stated, "I'm not interested in the briefcase." Ben initially pretended not to understand, saying, "Brother, I only received the briefcase." But Davis bluntly replied, "These diamonds are insured. The owner will get the money from the insurance company. Why are you risking your life?" Davis knew too much. So Ben finally admitted that the real diamonds were hidden in his left sock. He quietly removed them and showed them. Davis took the diamonds and quickly pulled Masood out of the trunk of his car. Meanwhile, Eli secretly took out his old gun, which he still had with him. As Davis was leaving, Eli immediately fired at him, but his old gun misfired, and Davis escaped even at point-blank range. Acting quickly, Davis reversed the car and sped away. He drove through the city streets and entered a parking garage. He was clearly shaken, having come so close to death. There, he removed his contact lenses from his eyes and cleaned himself. Then he covered the car, changed to another, and disappeared. Meanwhile, we see Detective Lou and his partner investigating the diamond robbery. They questioned Ben and expressed suspicion about his timing. "You were robbed on the same day you were carrying $3 million worth of diamonds, and how did the thief know your wife's name?" But Ben flatly stated, "I didn't leak any information." Ellie then confessed, "I fired a shot while leaving, but my aim wasn't accurate." The detectives also questioned why the thief didn't fire when he had the chance. Lou believed it was a criminal who had been tracking them for quite some time. Furthermore, whoever this person is, he avoids violence and disappears immediately after committing a crime along this highway. Meanwhile, Davis arrived at his apartment and put the diamonds in a cup. When he looked at his mask, he saw blood stains on it. Suddenly, he realized that there might be blood in the car he left in the parking garage. That evening, Davis met with a friend named Money who used to sell his stolen goods. The man asked how things were going. Davis explained that the theft had gone a little wrong. He narrowly escaped death. He'd been shot. He also said that the next plan we had made seemed too dangerous to him. I probably wouldn't be able to do it. The man then asked him bluntly, "Do you have a better plan?" Davis replied, "I'm working on it." That night, Davis began gathering information about Sharon. Sharon, who works at an insurance company, was also trying to sell her policy to a very wealthy man named Monroe. She praised his luxurious house and said, "Sir, the company wants to protect such people. What do the poor have to lose?" Sharon praised the rich old man, and it seemed that Monroe would agree to her proposal and sign the deal. But then Sharon mistakenly mistook Monroe's would-be fiancé, who was very young, for his daughter, and the chances of the deal going through diminished. When his colleagues asked if the deal was finalized, he said he was still thinking about it. Then he asked his boss, Phil, about his promotion, but Phil brushed it off. Anyway, Sharon's company had insured the stolen diamonds worth $3 million. Sharon's boss, Phil, told him, "You have contacts with the police, so you take care of this case. If the thieves are caught quickly, we won't have to pay this money." But Sharon wasn't willing to give up on the Monroe case. Seizing the opportunity, a girl named Mylin jumped in and said, "I'll take care of that." Anyway, Sharon had to reluctantly agree. Meanwhile, the jeweler named Sammy was also being questioned about the robbery. Detectives also suspected that he might have orchestrated the theft to get the insurance money, but Sammy immediately began to defend himself. He said, "I've been running my store for 27 years and built 2 more stores. Why would I risk my reputation now?" He insisted, "I didn't call anyone about the delivery. I just sent an email." Detective Lou understood immediately. If the thief had hacked his email, he would have gotten all the shipment information. Meanwhile, Davis was paying his hacker to access Sharon's social media. He wanted to know who she communicated with. This made it clear that he wasn't just planning a robbery, he was also looking for information from insurance companies to find out who owned what expensive items they were insuring. Later, while Davis was stopped at a red light, a woman named Maya hit his car. She angrily asked, "Why did you stop?" Davis remained calm and pointed to the red light and asked, "Are you okay?" She panicked and said, "I was running late and this car belongs to my boss." After the accident, Maya told Davis to show her the car insurance. She'd get it sorted. It was Maya's fault, but Davis didn't want to get into trouble with the police. He took out a bundle of notes from the car and said, "I'll pay for the damage right now." Maya looked at him closely and asked, "Do you always carry so much money with you?" But Davis changed the topic, saying, "I don't have time to spare. Tell me quickly how much money you need." Maya refused. He said, "It's the company's car. I have to report it properly, otherwise I'll be fired." Davis was forced to show her his insurance policy. Later, Sharon met with Detective Lou at a cafe to discuss the diamond theft. He suggested that both the jeweler and the courier undergo a lie detection test. He immediately understood that the insurance company was trying to avoid paying. Then, Lou showed him some data that suggested someone within the insurance company is involved. In the course of conversation, Lou explained that the people who buy insurance from you are the ones who are most likely to be burglarized. This suggests that someone inside the insurance company is in cahoots with the thieves. Later, at the police station, Lou worked on the same theory. He dug up old cases. He removed minor robberies because the thief was avoiding violence, so he also removed cases with more violence. He noticed a pattern in the remaining cases. All of them were happening near Highway 101. In all these robberies, there was no unprovoked violence, and the robbers escaped very easily. Now Lou was completely convinced that there was one man behind everything. Lou's boss didn't like his theory at all. Reopening so many cases would be bad for the department. They would be ridiculed in the media. His boss simply said, "Don't dig up old graves. Our job is to find salt," increasing the number of cases. Hearing this, Lou left in disappointment. He was convinced that whoever was arrested in these cases was wrong. Meanwhile, Mr. Money met with a man named Orman whom he wanted to assign to the next mission, as Davis had already refused. He said it was too risky. Someone could get hurt. But the plan was ready, and it didn't matter to Orman whether someone got hurt or died, so he immediately agreed. The next day, as planned, a delivery man was carrying the diamonds in a briefcase handcuffed to himself. As he tried to enter, Orman attacked him from behind. He threatened everyone with a gun. He had no mercy. He beat the courier severely and finally got the keys. Then he picked up a woman and forced her to put all the jewelry in a bag. He finally fired a shot, scaring everyone and leaving the scene. Meanwhile, Davis texted Maya using Mike's name and asked her out for dinner. Maya agreed, but that night she arrived a little late for the date. The place seemed a bit too fancy to Maya. She said she wanted to go somewhere a little more normal, so they left and went to a street food place. Maya had been a ray of color in Chris's dangerous black and white life. Their date went quite well. After Maya left, Davis watched a nearby television. Breaking news was showing a robbery at a jewelry store that had taken place today, around 10 a.m. The robber was wearing a motorcycle helmet the entire time, so no one could see his face. The reporter linked it to a string of high-profile robberies that had been occurring recently. Police were trying to gather clues with the help of witnesses, but unfortunately, no one had any evidence against the thief. Then, Lou carefully examined the footage. Something seemed off. The location, timing, and method largely matched the pattern, but this thief's actions seemed different. The previous thief avoided fights, quarrels, and violence, but this robbery—
Sharon jokingly remarked that life is too short for boring cars. Sharon asked him, "What car do you have?" He replied playfully, "It depends on the day. Today, I have a special car." Sharon laughed and said, "If you can change cars so easily, then I should join your team." Davis then told him, "Well, guess the model. If you guess correctly, I'll give you the keys." He then thought for a while and named a car. He also guessed the color. The color was perfect, but unfortunately, the model was wrong, and thus a wonderful conversation began between the two. Davis also told Sharon his name was Mike. Meanwhile, at the police station, the team viewed the last camera image of the robbery. Lou then asked again, "Has this man ever been seen near the 101 highway?" The answer was no. He never came on the highway. Lou then said that the last camera was here, and there isn't much space between the highways. He had changed cars in that area. He insisted that the entire area be searched. Later, Maya came to Davis's house. She noticed how empty his house looked. "There are no photos of you or anything else?" Then Davis said, "I don't like this much." She turned on some music and pulled Davis over for a dance. She jokingly said, "Someone else will have to impersonate you." Gradually, Davis relaxed, and the two grew closer. The next morning, Davis realized someone was following him. He checked his car and soon found a tracker. He immediately bought a new apartment and moved. At the same time, Lou found the thief's car, abandoned in a parking garage. Forensics also found a drop of blood. With great hope, Lou sent it for DNA testing. Later, Davis met Sharon at an art museum. Over dinner, Sharon explained her work, saying she insured expensive items for wealthy clients. Davis then told her the truth. Their meeting was not coincidental. He knew her before and wanted to offer her a business deal. But Sharon immediately realized she was a thief. She flatly refused, saying, "I've worked honestly all my life." Davis replied, "You must have, but the rich people you're insuring, they haven't confirmed it." Sharon stood up and walked away. Outside, Davis saw the same rider who had been following her. He immediately reversed his car, and a cat-and-mouse game began between them. Erman managed to escape for a long time, but eventually collided with a car and fell down. He then limped into a nearby building. Davis also arrived and, pointing his gun, said, "Stay away from me, understand?" Meanwhile, we see Sharon bump into Lou at a yoga class. Lou then received a call about a mysterious man near Highway 101. In fact, another thief was stealing nearby, but when the police opened fire, they realized it was a child. Lou believed he didn't even have a gun in his hand, but the police still shot him and killed him. Also, her boss closed all the pending cases, claiming that this boy had committed all the thefts. He was the main thief. Meanwhile, Malin was receiving praise at the insurance office. In fact, the insurance deal with Monroe was finally completed. Sharon did all the main work. Malin, finally, she signed the deal and returned. Sharon then quietly discussed her promotion with Mark, but Mark again brushed it off. When Sharon said she would take all her clients and go to another company, her boss began insulting her again, saying, "Who would take a 53-year-old woman? I don't need to be intimidated." Meanwhile, Lou had received the DNA test report. He began studying it carefully, hoping it might reveal the truth. Meanwhile, Sharon had made the biggest decision of her life. She contacted David and said, "You were telling me about some plan, right?" She told David that a courier was coming, bringing watches and diamonds worth $5.5 million for the wedding of a billionaire named Monroe. A lot of guards would be accompanying the courier, so security was very tight, but their plan also had loopholes. In fact, the man was paying in cash to avoid taxes. This meant that approximately $1 million in cash would be there. Hearing this, Davis immediately began thinking about theft. He asked how the cash would be secured, but Sharon wasn't sure. The insurance company was only covering the hero, so they were fully aware of it, but the cash was out of question. Davis hesitated because it seemed too risky, but Sharon explained that there was $1 million worth of goods there. That's enough money to give up everything forever. But Davis said money only matters if you can get away with it alive. Davis's name appeared in the DNA report. Lou went to an address listed in his name. A woman opened the door and Lou lied, saying, "My name is Detective." Seeing the woman's reaction, he knew she knew. Meanwhile, Davis listened to a voicemail in which the same woman asked him to call back. When Davis spoke with her, he learned that the police had come to inquire about him. Davis understood that the investigation was closing in on him. He then met with Sharon to confirm the courier details. Sharon estimated the delivery would be on Friday or Saturday. Since the wedding was on Sunday, it would be earlier. Davis then gave him a disposable phone and told him to destroy the SIM card after each call. Sharon insisted that this isn't being too filmy, but Davis said, "This is the way it is. There's nothing filmy about it. We have to work cleanly, leaving no evidence." A few days later, Sharon developed a detailed plan and told Davis everything. Suddenly, Ermin arrived and attacked her. Terrified, Sharon gave him the cash and hero details. She was now at a loss to understand what was happening, so she went straight to Lou. Fearing for her life, she confessed everything about the theft, including the entire plan and the money. Lou then began threatening her, saying, "If you planned such a massive theft, you're guilty too. If this becomes official, you'll have to leave your job and go to jail." For her safety, Lou told her not to go home and could stay at his house for a while. He also said, "Tell me about this Mike, every little detail." Lou went to the evidence room and began gathering evidence against Davis. At that very moment, Davis told Maya, "I have to leave town for work." To keep Maya safe, Davis didn't tell her much, and this angered her. She broke off the relationship and left. Davis was very frustrated by her loss. Then, on the day of the robbery, Davis headed for the airport, unaware that Ermin had all the information and that Lou knew his plan. Davis cleverly approached the driver and kidnapped him at gunpoint. He was going to pick up the courier himself as the driver. There, Lou met an undercover bank courier named Mr. Foster. He then arrived with the bag containing the watches and hero, posing as the courier himself. Both the fake driver and the fake courier were in the car. Soon, they arrived at the hotel where Monroe was staying. As soon as they entered the room, Davis immediately drew his gun and ordered everyone to sit down. He also ordered them to take out the cash from the safe. When Lou, as Davis had asked, began removing watches and diamonds from his briefcase and packing them into a bag for him, he discovered he had a gun inside. He pulled it out, pointed it at Davis, and told him, "I'm a cop, surrender." Davis replied, "I've never hurt anyone. I don't want to ruin my record." The situation became very tense, and then Ehrman entered and pointed his gun at both of them. Unlike Davis, Ehrman believed in violence. He shot Monroe without hesitation. In the ensuing chaos, Davis returned fire and killed Ehrman. Finally, after the whole thing was over, Lou told Davis, "I know you're the Highway 101 thief. You've never even scratched anyone. Today, you killed a man to save my life." Lou's heart was changed, realizing Davis was a good man who had to become a thief because of society. He said, "Take whatever you can quickly." He also told Monroe to do as I say, otherwise I'll have such a tax evasion inquiry launched against you that the old man will suffer in jail. He called for backup, saying, "A man came to rob me. I've killed him." Mr. Monroe was also shot. Finally, Davis sent Sharon nearly $3 million as promised and left his shiny car for Lou and left. He also sent a letter to Maya, which included a childhood photo, so perhaps she'll be considered a hero too. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel.